Hello and welcome to yet another dissection with me, Mr. Hopper. We are going to cut up an eyeball here today, and we're going to examine the interior parts and pieces therein. So, you should have a bag not unlike this. I'm going to take my scissors here. I'm just going to come in and start opening this thing up just a little bit. We're going to see what we can get into. I'm going to go grab some gloves. All right, that's a little better. So we've got our gloves here. You know, these things we forget. I was getting started on this, and there was a fire alarm that went off. So if you see flashing, the reason there's flashing is because the alarm system is apparently malfunctioning, and the flashers are going to keep going for a period of time, which I can't wait on because we have work to do. So let's get it done. So I've got my eyeball here. I've got it sort of cut open. I'm going to remove it from the plastic packaging. Now, what you need to understand about the eyeball itself is it is, in fact, ensheathed in a variety of different tissues, as it were. So this one here, boy, can you tell? It bounces. It's hard as a rock. This is crazy. Normally, these are a good bit softer than this. Now, what I want you to notice is you have a little sac here around the eye. This would be the conjunctiva of this particular eyeball, and it would be part and parcel with the eyelid of the eye. Like you can sort of pull some of this stuff back here, but conjunctiva all the same. Part and parcel with the eyelid of the eye. Sort of keeps materials on the outside so nothing can get in behind and cause problems. Now, you can see little bits of stuff here. This is muscle. This is fat. And if I kind of dig in here, we can probably find the optic nerve. Yep, there that is, right there. So that is the optic nerve kind of sticking out of there. You can feel it's hard by comparison to the rest of this. What we need to do is we need to unwrap this eyeball. Okay, you can do this without unwrapping it, but I much prefer having just the bare eyeball. So I'm going to take my scalpel, which mine's going to be a little different than yours. I'm using a number 3 size. It's a little smaller. And I'm going to come through here and I'm going to unwrap this eyeball. Now, you can see that I'm getting down to the actual eyeball itself. That's this portion down here. The rest of this is just conjunctiva, this outer coating. So I can feel the texture of the eyeball. And what I'm doing is I'm peeling off all this external tissue, just sort of leaving the eyeball. Pardon the motion here, folks. Trying to leave the eyeball mostly intact and just remove this outer coat of material. You can see how I'm applying pressure with my finger and holding with my thumb. And it kind of gives me the leverage I need to section this open. And let me go ahead and also say, please be careful. Your scalpel is sharper than you think. If I'm doing this in a quick fashion, it's because I've done it 1,000 times before. You need to be very, very careful or you could injure yourself, all right? Okay, now what you see here is I've removed a lot of the fat from the back of this. You can see a lot of the eye muscle. This is all eye muscle here. You can see other bits of eye muscle still attached to the eyeball itself. And now you can quite clearly see that optic nerve in the back. So what I'm going to do is a nice sagittal section. I'm going to come in, or I'm sorry, frontal section. I'm going to come in. Now I'm not going to squeeze the eyeball. If you squeeze the eyeball, it's like a balloon. It's going to pop. Okay, you can see that there's give there. I'm going to take it, I'm going to use my scalpel, let the scalpel do the work, and I'm just going to slowly glide this across. You got to remember that this outside is very, very thick, very strong collagen fiber. Okay, this is not unlike the ligaments, the tendons that you saw whenever you did the chicken dissection. So I'm just going to let the scalpel do the work. See it open up there? All right, there it is, it's open. I'm going to use the scalpel. I'm just going to come through and saw this thing open gently and slowly. Let the tool do the work. I'm letting the tool do the work as best I can. And we're going to try to leave the interior of this thing mostly intact. Again, feel the texture, man. It's so different. It's so strong. It's just crazy. Such a different concept. Again, I say this in lecture, but it feels like tin foil to me, like cutting a tin can. Like it's audible. I can hear the cutting. Very strange. Here we go. All right. Now then, there it is. There's two halves. Now I have inadvertently cut the Vitreous Humor in half as well, so I can actually dump that out, I predict, if I wanted to. But what we can do is I can come in here. This is all going to be Vitreous Humor. Can you make this out? Look at the gel-like surface there. All right. Oh, too far. That is Vitreous Humor right there. Boom. There's a big hunk of Vitreous Humor. You can see the texture of what we're dealing with. It's almost like a clear slime. Listen, there it goes. Okay. Now, this is the back of the eye, obviously, and this is actually a very pretty example of the back of the eye. Let me get all this Vitreous Humor out of there best I can. What we have is the retina. Okay, there's retina on the front of the eye as well, but I've cut it using my scalpel, so pretty much all we're left with is this retina cut on the back of the eye. I can come in here, I can pick the retina up. All right, there it is. Like I can pick the retina up. It's this layer, this brownish layer, that is retina right there. So your rods and cones that allow you to perceive light, those are going to be found in that very thin, look at the thinness of it, thin, delicate, man. Like I could take my thumb and rake it through there and it would just fall to pieces. I'm being very, very delicate. That is that thin, thin layer, that is the retina. And if you look at this, you can see, I wish this camera would focus a little better, but you can see that the retina kind of gathers up right in here. That's the optic disc. So if you kind of look at where that is and then flip the eye over, that's where the optic nerve comes and connects. That is the optic disc right there. Now, I'm trying to make this area be a fovea centralis, but that's not exactly how these eyeballs work. Now, I can also come in here and I can grab this retina and pull it back and look. Yep, that is definitely a fovea centralis. That's it right there. I can pull this all back just like that. And you can see this beautiful layer. Oh my God, this is so pretty, isn't it? It's very pearlescent, would be the term set. This iridescent, pearlescent layer, that is called the tapetum lucidum. You probably have seen animals at night when you're driving down the road and you've noticed that their eyes glow, okay? That's because they have this reflective layer in the back of their eyes. You do not have this. So this is a coating on the choroid. So this is all choroid back here. You can pull this down, you can look, and you can see the blood vessels in there. It's really kind of gross looking, but choroid all the same. That will be providing the nutrient for the eye, okay, for the retina, as the retina lays against it. So the retina lays against the choroid, but in this particular animal, it's got tapetum lucidum, this shiny layer that assists with night vision. Really neat. Pretty cool stuff. So what I've got is I've got the sclera. Feel how hard that sclera is. It's crazy. Like, it's basically a tendon. Okay, it's basically like a big hunk of collagen fiber. You've got the sclera, you've got the choroid, which is this darkish layer here, and then the retina lays against that choroid. Now, on the other side, you can see through the lens of this eye. See down here? Okay, you can see through that lens. What I can do is I can come in and I can remove. Okay, first things first, the lens inside of there is attached to the ciliary body of the eye using very fine ligamentation. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be like shucking an oyster. I'm going to go in beside the vitreous humor, put my probe down underneath the lens of the eye, and then I'm just going to turn this thing, and I can feel those ligaments kind of cracking off. Crack, 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 crack. It's the sensation it gives. It's a little, almost like a very thin amount of Velcro. And once I'm done, I can take the whole thing, dump it out. Look at there. There's the lens. Let's get all that vitreous humor out of there. And there's the vitreous humor. All right. So first things first. Here's the lens of the eye. It's what a unique texture. Such a strange thing. So you can feel the slight degree of malleability. Now this is preserved, so it's not as nice as a fresh eyeball would be, but you can feel that it's got a little give to it, just a little flex. So this is the lens of the eye that's able to squeeze or stretch to focus light that comes in via your cornea. Now the cornea, here on the outside of the eye, is the main focal concept of an eyeball. The cornea does the majority of the light bending. But the lens sitting in there against that ciliary body fine-tunes the image. Okay, fine-tunes the image. Most of the work's done by the cornea. The lens is just a helper. Now, in here, you can see these. I hope you can make out the lines in this. I'm trying to let you get the light just right. Let's see if I can clear off the rest. Man, this Vitreous Humor is on there. Okay, can you make out these lines? Line, 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 line. This is muscle. Okay, that is indeed muscle. All that right there. This is all muscle. So you've got the iris, which is this little bitty flap there on the inside. That would give rise to the pupil of the eye and its capacity to change opening sizes, if you will. It can constrict or relax. And then alternatively, you've got this ciliary body. And again, the ciliary body would be attached to the lens with the very small ligaments, and it could stretch the lens or squeeze the lens depending upon what's necessary to focus light. All right, so we got our choroid. No, wrong. We got our cornea. We have our iris. We have our ciliary body. We have our lens. We have vitreous humor galore down here. All this gel-like substance, that's all vitreous humor. You have seen the retina, the choroid with the tapetum lucidum, and you've seen the sclera, and some extrinsic eye muscles. And that, folks, is that in terms of a good eyeball dissection. So I hope that helps. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.